Indigenous people have long experienced a lack of access to clean water. This is due to a variety of factors, including environmental degradation, poverty, and lack of access to resources. As a result, many indigenous communities are at an increased risk of illness and death due to contaminated water. The United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous People, UNDRIP, recognizes the right of indigenous people to access clean water. Article 24 states that indigenous people have the right to maintain and strengthen their distinctive spiritual relationship with their traditional territories, lands, water, and natural resources, and to uphold their responsibilities to future generations in this regard. This right is further emphasized by the right of indigenous people to free, prior, and informed consent regarding any project that may affect their lands, territories, and resources. In addition, the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, seek to ensure the availability and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. 6 Sudanese Pounds calls for the implementation of integrated water resources management at all levels, including through improved access to clean water and sanitation services. It emphasizes the need for equitable access to safe and affordable drinking water, improved sanitation, and hygiene in all communities. Despite the recognition of indigenous rights to clean water, there is still a long way to go in terms of achieving equitable access to clean water for indigenous communities. In Canada, for example, many indigenous communities face severe water shortages and contamination issues, which are often linked to poverty and inadequate infrastructure. In order to address this issue, governments must prioritize the adoption and implementation of policies and programs that support the rights of indigenous people to access clean water. This includes investing in infrastructure, such as improved drinking water systems, and providing financial and technical support to indigenous communities for the implementation of water management plans. In addition, governments must work to ensure that indigenous people are consulted and involved in decision-making processes related to water management. This includes the recognition of the right of indigenous people to free, prior, and informed consent regarding any project that may affect their lands, territories, and resources. Finally, governments must recognize and respect the spiritual and cultural connections that indigenous people have with their traditional territories and water sources. This includes the need for increased protection of sacred sites, such as rivers and lakes, and the right of indigenous people to access clean water for ceremonial and traditional purposes. Indigenous rights to access clean water are essential for the health and well-being of indigenous communities. Governments must take action to ensure that these rights are respected and that indigenous people have equitable access to clean water.